Joined by our expert Russ Bliss here with FantasyFootballStarters.com, and you are here to help people make sure that their teams are ready for a big Sunday.
Yeah, and the first thing we're going to talk about today are the injuries that you need to know about heading into week number 2. Topping the list, of course, is the quarterbacks. 4 quarterbacks got injured in week number 1.
Including mine, by the way.
Matt Stafford?
Nope.
Kevin Cobb?
There you go. Oh, rough. One whole point from that guy before he went down.
Yeah, Kevin Cobb's got the concussion. He's not going to play today. Michael Vick gets the start.
Do you think he's going to come back? Because I know they're going to put Vick in, and the coaches said that that's a temporary thing. But if Vick keeps playing well, how do you pull him?
If Vick plays very well, I think what they want to do is they would like Vick to play well so that way they can trade him before the NFL trade deadline and that way get something back for him in the future. I think Kevin Cobb, they've got too much money invested in him. I don't think he's going anywhere. But Stafford's out this week with the shoulder injury, going to miss at least 2 to 6 more weeks. You got Matt Moore, who's also got a concussion injury. He's going to be out, or he's going to probable for today's game, but it's going to be a game time decision. You never know. Concussions are always one of those tricky things. We saw it last year when certain quarterbacks went down with concussions. They practiced all week and then they didn't play that weekend.
Yeah.
And then you've got Jake Delhomme. He's doubtful with the ankle injury. And Ryan Grant of the Green Bay Packers tore ligaments in his ankle. He's going to miss the rest of the season. Brandon Jackson takes over. And one other one that's really big on people is wide receiver Hakeem Nicks for the New York Giants. He's got an ankle injury. They play that game tonight, the Sunday night game, but I do expect him to play, so he's good to start.
Yeah, after last week, you want to see him on your lineup if you got him. He had such a great week last week. One of the things we talk about all the time, and my girlfriend actually is playing fantasy football this year. One of the things I was warning her about was don't get that sky is falling feeling if you have a rough first week, because there are super wonders out there and super losers in one week, and one season does not, or one game does not make a season.
No, it doesn't. Fantasy football law of averages is something I believe in. Whenever a mediocre player has a really great game, he's going to have a bunch of really poor games to make up for it. And then also in reverse, when your stud players have down games, that means they've got great games coming up. So it all balances out at the end.
So who's one of those guys out there that had just an incredible game that people are thinking, should I add that guy to my roster? But you might want to say,
yeah, well, my first week wonder is Jacksonville Jaguars tight end Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis had 2 catches for 31 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brent Selleck had like 2 catches for 32 yards, and everyone was like really panicking about him. They drop Selleck, they go get Mercedes Lewis, thinking he's going to put up 2 touchdowns every week. But he's only had 2 touchdowns every season the last 3 seasons. And 2 catches for 31 yards is about what he averages on average per game. So he's a one-week wonder. He's not going to have 2 touchdowns in another game this season.
So don't think if you pick him up, you're saving your season.
No, you're not.
All right. Who are some of the players that people need to be putting in their lineup? Some of the strong plays for week 2?
Well, first off, you want New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning. Eli Manning had the 3 touchdowns last week. The game against Indianapolis tonight looks to be a very high-scoring game. Look
Manning
for both
Bowl.
quarterbacks to really go
How
off
incredible
this
is that? 2 brothers playing at that level in the NFL.
It's just amazing. It's amazing. I don't recall any time when we've seen quarterbacks that were brothers actually do that in the NFL. But at running back, another guy that you want to have definitely out there is Rams running back Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson had a good game against the Cardinals last week. Would have had a better game if they didn't throw the football 55 times. But Steven Jackson gets the Oakland Raiders this week. They got shredded by Chris Johnson of the Tennessee Titans last week, and look for Steven Jackson to have a really good week. And then at wide receiver, Andre Johnson for the Houston Texans. Andre Johnson had a down game last week, only 33 yards receiving. But this week he gets a Redskins team that allowed Miles Austin, the #1 wide receiver for Dallas, 10 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown. Look for Andre Johnson to bounce back this week.
And he's going to be playing the Redskins. Is Santana Moss for real, do you think?
Santana Moss had 75 yards last week. Washington really needs someone else to step up at wide receiver, because other than Santana Moss and Chris Cooley at tight end, they've got a dearth of real mediocrity at the wide receiver position. But Moss is also a pretty good play this week, in my opinion.
Okay, the Cardinals, they're taking on Atlanta today. What are some of the keys to that game if the Cardinals want to come home with another win?
Well, of course, first off, you want to talk about the injuries there. You got Beanie Wells. He's questionable, going to be a game-time decision. I don't think Beanie Wells is going to play today for Arizona. Larry Fitzgerald has the knee injury. He's going to play. He's probable on the injury report, but he's not 100%.
Can Steve Breston be the #1 guy if there is no Larry Fitzgerald? I mean, we knew Anquan Bolden could always step up if needed.
Right. I don't know if Steve Breston's really cut out to be a true #1 wide receiver in the NFL, but it really helps that they've got depth at the position, and they need it because Early Doucette's also injured. He's going to be out after having surgery for the hernia. He's going to miss the next 2 to 6 weeks. So the Arizona Cardinals, Stephen Williams, that great undrafted rookie, steps into the #3 wide receiver spot this week. Now, as far as keys for today's game, first thing, you got to protect Derek Anderson. He got knocked around last week by the Rams.
One tough kid, though.
Yes. Derek Anderson's a big guy, so he can take those hits, but sooner or later, those are going to catch up to you. Also, you have to contain Falcons running back Michael Turner. Had a poor game last week against Pittsburgh, and they're very good run defense. You got to make sure that you don't let the Atlanta Falcons offense get into a rhythm, and the rhythm starts with Michael Turner. And third, don't fumble the football 7 times. Cardinals lost 4 fumbles last week.
Is that really the key to the game? I didn't know. I thought that was a strategy. Drop it a whole bunch. Put the ball on the ground. Okay, you have a big trivia giveaway as well, and people might want to answer one of these questions for you.
Oh, yeah. The Arizona Cardinals are, every week we do a Fantasy Football Starters giveaway, and we're going to give away 1 championship package to the first person who emails Russ at fantasyfootballstarters.com with the correct answer to this question. Name the Cardinals defender who had a 65-yard interception return last week versus the Rams. First viewer to email Russ at fantasyfootballstarters.com. Complete access to all of our tools, our championship plan that's a $24.95 value, and that includes our lineup, trade, draft analyzers, along with our team analyzer, and our smart alerts that go out warning you about players you should pick up and those you should avoid.
Yeah, and if you want to win your league, that's a smart investment.
Yes.
All right. Hey, thanks so much, Russ. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.